friends and members of the Creation Research Society. Dr. Brown here. In today's member spotlight, I'd like to introduce you to someone who I'm just meeting for the first time as well. We've got Glen Van Slooten. And did I get that right, Glen?
Yes, that's correct. You got it.
So Glen, you have a master's degree in molecular and cellular pharmacology, background in industrial chemistry. Uh, Tell us about that. Tell us your story into the sciences. Let's start with what made you to pursue the degree in the first place.
Oof. Okay. Well, I guess I've had a lifelong interest in science since, grammar school. It was always my best subject, the one I was most interested in and excelled at. Math and science were my good subjects. So basically, I was interested in science. I wasn't sure which way to go, through high school because you get exposed to everything in high school. And then as an undergraduate, I went to Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and I ended up majoring in physics. I kind of like physics and biochemistry. I did physics first, just because I found physics, I did the best. I got my best grades in physics, and because I think I was good in math, and that helped my physics. So I kind of said, all right, I'm going to major in physics, and then I don't know if I can find a job in physics that easy. So I took a lot of electives in chemistry and biology, so I was able to do a double major in biochemistry.
Wow.
So sort of at my senior year, I took mostly all the biochemistry courses. So I ended up with a double major, physics and biochemistry.
So
Uh,
which of those do you consider to be your greatest identity, physics or biochemistry?
well, kind of both. I mean,
Yeah, that sounds like
physics,
you're a
I
mixture
think
of both.
yeah, I did better at it. I was not quite as good in the chemistry side of things. But I kind of like both. And then when I was looking for graduate schools, I was applying to biophysics programs.
Okay.
So I actually looked for universities that had biophysics programs. So at that point, I got accepted to several schools, and I chose the University of Miami, which I originally started in the biophysics department, and then ended up switching over to the molecular and cellular pharmacology department. The coursework's basically the same. It's just my
Gotcha.
advisor was associated with the pharmacology department that I ended up doing my thesis work in. So I kind of switched there. So I was kind of interested in the biochemical, physical, end of it, physics of biology, down at that small level, how the nerves react, how the, pharmacology works, and all the second messengers and signaling that happens within the cells. That was kind of my interest. Get how small, dig deep into the cell, not just a receptor binding to the cell, but actually what goes on inside,
Yeah.
the messengers that happen, the genes that get turned on. There's just, so much. It's very complicated. I mean, the more you learn, the more complicated it gets. And
And and,
it's
and that's
just crazy.
That's what I love about it. You're speaking my language. I'm a developmental biologist with a specialty in molecular biology, and I couldn't agree more. So let's since we're already going there, let's tie this into it. How how does your worldview? How did it get shaped along the way? How do you bring a biblical worldview into this, and how has this biochemistry physics background influenced your worldview?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, initially, I guess you kind of take mainstream science, as far as creation goes, what they teach you in school, that we evolved, from molecules all the way up to man, just with billions of years. And then you kind of reach a point, you start to question that, as you get further advanced in science, you're taught to question other people's work, is this accurate? Is this not? So as you advance, and I think I advanced in science, I kind of got more curious,
Hmm.
maybe there's some truth to that biblical story we learned in Sunday school that there was a great flood and all the animals were saved on the ark. And then you start meeting other scientific people like that are in our organization that also have those same beliefs. And so you kind of fall into that and you're like, wow, maybe that's all really the way it happened, not what they teach you in high school, So it really changes your view. And then as you do your science, you look at it from a creation point. Why did God create this system to work this way? Is it a, better way, or why does it do this, or why does it do that? We know that it was created, perfectly, but it didn't really evolve. I mean, it's got errors in the system now,
Sure.
you know, So it kind of, it's, just to try and figure out the whole system, what was God creating and what happened over time, over the thousands of years that we were alive that, make us what we are today. So,
Well, I really like how you just summed it up there, kind of that full transition from just taking secular science's word for it to starting to doubt to starting to say, okay, wait, this actually matches a biblical account, to then starting to use a design perspective to inform your science. The way
yeah.
you just strung that all together was really nice. So we're going to circle back to that. I'd like to hear how you got into the Creation Research Society, but tell us kind of what you did in the interim after grad school. You went into what?
Okay. Yeah, I started working for a small biotech company in the Miami area, right where I was living from grad school, where I did produce natural human interferon was our project. So we cultured human cells and we made stimulated them with a virus, collected all the proteins that were produced, and isolated the interferons. So we were trying to get the whole spectrum of interferons. There's several subtypes. So ours was natural versus the recombinants, which would just be
Okay.
one subtype. So our thought was, well, if we get all the subtypes of interferon that are produced by the body, we would have a better drug and a better treatment for various things. And so I worked on that project for 5 or 6 years at that company. We completed the project. We scaled it up and we moved production over to Scotland, and then they closed our R&D facility at that point. So at that point, I was out of a job, and
You
so
worked
I,
your way out of the job, it sounds like.
yeah, pretty much. We completed the project, and they didn't want to start a new drug until they got some income from this one.
Sure.
So the company sort of dissolved at that point. So then I moved 100 miles north, took a new job. We're working for a small instrumentation company making spectrophotometers, basically,
Okay.
absorbent spectrophotometers. So they make everything from a simple benchtop unit to a fully automated robotic system. And that's where I primarily work with the robotic system, is setting up assays on the robot to, optimize them. So mostly clinical assays. We started clinical chemistry, immunoassays, infectious disease, that type of thing. And then we branched into other markets. We got into food testing, wine testing, and other things using the same system. So I worked there for 25 years. And I reached a point where I kind of wasn't growing anymore. I mean, company wasn't investing in any new technology. So I decided to leave them just last year. I left them.
Okay.
So I'm currently looking for a new position at the moment to see. I'm not sure which direction to go at this point. I
Yeah,
just needed a
big
break,
change then.
25 years at the same company. I really wanted to change. So I ended up leaving them, and I'm currently searching for some new research projects. So
Okay.
maybe some people out there I can collaborate with them. We'll see.
Very good. So you got industrial chemistry, physics, biochemistry background, and a lot to tap into there.
Yeah. There's a lot of good science that I did. I mean, plus I took electives. I took electrical engineering as an elective. I took computer science as an elective. So I didn't take any easy stuff. I always took all the technical stuff to try and maximize my, abilities as an undergrad.
Yeah.
So I do have a lot of experience in various areas.
So, Glenn, you're a perfect example of why the society exists, because the purpose of the society is to connect people like you uh, to other people like you. And so, how did you learn about the society? Why did you join it? And how do you hope to be, used in it? What do you hope to get out of it? That sort of thing.
Okay. Well, I first became aware of the society back in, I guess, the early 1990s when I was in graduate school. My parents were having a vacation retreat up in upstate New York, which I went to. And at that meeting, I met Wayne Frere, who was the current president of
Okay.
CRS at the time. So I met him, and he was doing a morning seminar series that week on creation. So he presented things from the recent meeting, and he presented, a basic overview of, creation, how we didn't evolve, through this whole, tree of organisms. There was actually a cat tree, a dog tree, a bear tree, and we got the different kinds from there, the different types of, you know, species of bear or species of cats or dogs.
Sure.
And, it made a lot more sense. There's none of this transition between species, in the records. And so that really changed my life and brought me in, hey, this makes more sense than what we were taught in high school. And so that's how I learned about the society. And then I started, subscribing to more, the journal and that sort of thing. And then eventually joined as a full member after I completed my graduate school program. So
Fantastic. No, that's exactly the model we want to replicate over and over again. I was a grad student, kind of on my own, didn't know about the society, and I found out about it afterwards, and it was I felt at home once I found
yeah,
the society.
yeah, you meet other scientific people that, have the same beliefs.
Yep.
So, and it makes you feel more comfortable. Hey, I'm not the only one that thinks
Yeah.
this is a better model than the secular model.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you the last word. So I want you to kind of share what what you think the greatest needs are for us as a society moving forward into the future, and finish us off with your favorite Bible verse or a favorite Bible verse.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite. As far as moving forward, I think our goal really is to just get people to get rid of these billions of years, scheme of creation. I think that's the biggest myth that everybody believes in. And I think our goal should be to convince the world that, we don't need these billions of years. We just need a creator, and we only need a few thousand years and we can come to what we have right now. Things can be created in days. It doesn't take billions of years, as long as there's a
Yeah.
God in the picture, and accept the fact that scientists can believe in God and we don't have to be atheists, and think we came out of nothing.
Well
I mean,
said.
I think that's really what our goal should be, is just to get the general population to kind of question the age of the earth and of everything, that wasn't a random event. So that's kind of think where we should go. It's hard to do that, but maybe over time we get enough people to spread the word, they'll get more believers and
Yeah,
followers with
little
us.
by little. No,
So
faithfulness is the key.
yeah,
Just keep at it.
yeah. So I mean, as far as a biblical verse, that's a tough one. There's a lot. I mean, I sort of change from time to time. I could For now, I could give you one. I could say, Job chapter 12, verse 7, where he says, ask the animals and they will teach you, or the birds in the sky and they will tell you, or speak to the earth and it'll teach you, or let the fish in the sea inform you. So it's kind of like look to nature and you will find God. You will see
Hmm.
creation. You'll understand, the power of God and what he's done. So that's one that just came up this week, I guess.
Well said. No, that's a really powerful reminder of how science is a tool that should draw people towards their creator. Thank
Yes.
you, Glenn, for giving us some of your time today. We appreciate you joining us.
Okay. All right. Thank you. It's great being here.
To to everybody else out there, hey, if you love science, love studying the world around you, and you love God and love God's word, the Creation Research Society is the place for you. Our objective is simple. We want to glorify God through all aspects of our life, including through science.